Good morning. Welcome to the All for One presentation. Today's topic is All for One KSeF, SAP integration with the Polish E-Invoicing System. I am pleased to introduce our experts, Jacek Szlachta.
Good morning.
Hello.
And Krzysztof Usowicz. And my name is Octavia Radio, and I'm the moderator of this presentation. Let's start with the following statement. The Polish legal and tax system is one of the most complex in the world. For companies using SAP, it means the constant need to adjust their systems to the new regulations. To meet these challenges, we offer a wide range of All for One add-ons, unique SAP extensions. According to your needs, you may choose among more than 40 solutions, extending the standard of SAP systems and adapting the corporate systems to the Polish law and specific industry needs. Today, we're focusing on finance, controlling, and reporting. Jacek and Krzysztof will guide you through All for One KSeF, our unique solution for SAP integration with the national invoicing system. And before I hand over, let me mention that All for One KSeF is a solution trusted in more than 160 companies. All right, thank you very much for listening to the introduction. And now let's move on to the presentation. Jacek, this is your turn.
Thank you very much, Octavia. So this is the agenda for today's meeting. And let's start from current status of legal bases and new structure FI version 3. In general, the beginnings of the e-invoicing implementation process in Poland date back to 2029 with planned deployment in 2024. Due to the many dots on both sides, I mean tax authorities and especially taxpayers, in the first half of 2024, the obligation was postponed until 2026. Immediately after postponement, the Ministry of Finance began consultation with businesses to improve the whole system operation. This consultation resulted in significant legal changes and new schema FI3, which I will discuss in detail on the next slides. In the context of these changes, it is worth noting that the SaaS models guarantees that our customers have access to a solution that always meets Ministry of Finance requirements. 1st of February 2026, currently the most important date for the topic of KSeF in Poland. Small interesting fact, it will be a Sunday, so we are expecting very busy day despite the weekend. All the previously mentioned legal changes have been included in the project UD 158, which is already awaiting the President's signature. In general, the legislative process is being finished. It is widely believed that this project provides taxpayers with two key benefits. First, there will be no penalties for not using KSeF and potential error. And also the second, no obligation to provide the KSeF number in bank transfers until the end of 2026. Ministry of Finance allows the option of issuing a document outside the system if it is sent to KSeF no later than the next working date and marked with a special QR code other than standard one. Next change concerns possibility of issuing invoices via KSeF also for customers, in meaning natural person, but this is only the option. The last significant change is simplification in VAT adjustment in event of correction to the sales invoice. On this slide, we have tried to list the most important changes compared to schema FI2. Previous version of KSeF required the payment date to be entered in date format. It is now also possible to present this information in a more descriptive manner. For example, 1 day after invoice issuance. Name of goods and services can be specified up to 512 characters. In schema 3 appear also extra note, attachment. We will focus on it in details on the next slides. As a result of recent changes, the date of issue of the KSeF invoice will in practice always be the date indicated by the issuer in field P1. Attachment note. Note attachment is an integral part of FI3. That is why there is a structured format. To use this note, taxpayers must obtain permission from the tax authority, but all taxpayers who consider it necessary may apply for this, so there are no restrictions on entities. However, only mandatory invoice element as specified in Article 106e VAT Act may be included in attachment. In other words, advertising, marketing, or similar content may not be included. From the technical point of view, in case of note attachment, we have 1,000 data blocks made up 1,000 tables. Each table has 20 columns and 1,000 rows. Potentially, this note can store very large amounts of data. In this section, we would like to discuss the most common challenges associated with the implementation process based on our experience working with clients. Let's start with the legal definition. Based on VAT Act, a structured invoice issued and received using the national e-invoicing system in electronic form and in accordance with the template. In KSeF, we distinguish the following types of documents: basic invoice, advance payment invoice, settlement invoice, and corrective invoice for each of them. Obviously, each type of KSeF document has separate requirements for mandatory fields. Basic invoice says invoice. In SAP, we use objects like FI document type, SD billing type, and tax code. These basic parts of mapping are running very smoothly, and the statutory date is being transferred correctly almost always after first part of configuration. However, every company has a set data specific to its industry or customers, and this information, after detailed analysis with consultant, is mapped to a note, additional description. Based on our experience, the part of implementation concerns this note always required extensive testing. In accordance with the Polish VAT Act, a corrective invoice must contain references to all documents that are being corrected. So, first, we need to map the values of the original invoices and then check if the corrective invoice does not exceed 1 megabyte. Because we've got two limitations: the maximum number of documents which we can correct by one correction in the schema is 50,000 occurrences, and file size 1 megabyte. All for one tests have shown that sometimes a regular VAT invoice with 5,000 lines exceeds the file size limit. That is why this issue always requires testing with customer data. In case of advance payment invoices, the biggest challenge is mapping very detailed value to the note order, especially with customers who don't have the SAP Polish SD standard for advance invoices. Until now, some taxpayers have not provided any details of orders in case of advance payment invoices. But please notice that this is no longer possible with KSeF invoices. Settlement invoice. In general, if the advance payment does not cover 100% of the order, the taxpayer is obliged to issue a settlement invoice, indicating the advance invoice or invoices to which it refers. As in the case of advance payment invoices, this is very challenging for the clients without SD standard for down payment process. But of course, we are also able to handle this kind of scenarios. The slides show the justification for the first legal act introducing KSeF in Poland. Of course, apart from the benefits of digesting the invoicing process, such as minimizing errors and archiving documents by Ministry of Finance, it is worth noting the increased analytical capabilities of tax authorities. Although penalties will not be applied in the first year, it is worth remembering that they will ultimately amount to as much as 100% of the VAT payable according to the invoice, in the cases indicated on the slide, such as failure to issue an invoice in the KSeF system. In general, KSeF sales invoices transmission process consists of following steps: issuing a sales document, mapping fields to an XML structure, sending the invoice to KSeF, downloading the KSeF number, updating the data in the document, official confirmation of receipts, which is available at the end of the sending session, sometimes even a day after receiving the KSeF number. To comply with the obligation to issue invoices in KSeF, our customers can choose between SAP DRC or All-for-One KSeF. Main features of SAP DRC. Solution is dedicated for SAP version SEC S/4HANA Public Edition. Transmission of documents take place via SAP DRC Service Cloud Edition. Solution is implemented by SAP's Node and customizing, but advanced field mapping, different than corresponding to SAP standard, is possible only through body implementation, not customizing. Visualization of invoices is available only in HTML format. The user has access to the transaction or application depending on the interface, the so-called cockpit, which contains a list of documents to be sent to KSeF, with basic analytical data and information of transmission, which can be initiated manually or via jobs. The cockpit also has an option for handling incoming invoices issued in KSeF. And this is the example of standard interface, cockpit in DRC, and also application in Web GUI. The second option offered by All-for-One is our own KSeF solution. Key features. All-for-One KSeF is dedicated for SAP version ECC and S/4HANA. Transmission of documents take place via our subsequent solution, so-called One API. Configuration covering standard SAP FI process settings, which can be modified. There is also a possibility of creating additional extension by body implementation. End user disposes additional analytical data other than required by Ministry of Finance, with the possibility to create own validation. We have got also extensive customization options for visualization in PDF format and additional action after sending e-invoice, adding XML or PDF like attachment to FI posting, sending email to customer, updating KSeF number of SAP document. The architecture of the All-for-One KSeF solution consists of the following components. First, KSeF extractor installed on the customer system, responsible for downloading data from tables and creating XML messages. The second one, KSeF Hub program, in the All-for-One infrastructure, responsible for validation and communication with the ministry, sending and receiving messages. From the technical point of view, there is a middleware, One API, the service that receives various types of client messages and then forwards them to external services, for example, KSeF or GPKey. The advantage of One API is one-time configuration, which allows it to handle messages with different types of. Okay, so right now we would like to present our solution in SAP Development System. After installing the packages, the user receives a dedicated transaction created in our namespace. There are options Programs, Configuration, and Cockpit. The cockpit contains all documents that are to be sent to Ministry of Finance. By default, mapping refers to FI and SD sources, but also MM due to the self-billing. User can sort the data in a detailed way with using predefined or own variant. The entire structure of the invoice is available in SAP as a form. Here we can see the mapping results. For example, Entity 2. And also the line of invoice. The cockpit has many functional features dedicated to users, making operation very simple. We can download UPO, see the visualization or XML. As you can see, we can check the validation status very easy. In case of any errors, user received detailed information. The solution also allows for validation. It is possible to correct the data as a standard in the source like SD document, but also directly in the form, like on the presentation right now. We've got so many analytical data, not required by Ministry of Finance. Visualization are available in English as a standard, and configuration in other languages is also possible. We can add the logo of company also for self-billing. It is possible to open SD or FI document directly from Cockpit and attach PDF or XML invoice. The last feature that is highly appreciated by our customers is the option to send an email to the customer after the KSeF number has been assigned.
KSeF solution has also a part for purchase invoices. I would like to present functionalities and implementation for purchase invoices now. So regarding the purchasing invoices, we have challenges in the following three areas. So we do have challenges in business environment area, challenges for suppliers to issue sales documents to KSeF solution. We do have challenges in the area of solutions that are currently implemented in a company for processing incoming invoices. Solutions such as SAP ERP system, OCR solution, workflow solutions. And the third area that is also affected is the policies area. Here we have got expense approval procedures, etc. These solutions, these policies can also be affected by the introduction of KSeF solution for purchasing invoices. In the first area, business environment, we do have currently the following state. So invoices are issued in paper form. They are issued also in PDF form, or they are issued in electronic form via EDI channels. Attachments, if any, are delivered together with the invoice, usually in paper or PDF format. And the leading number of the invoice is the number that is created in the supplier's system. How it will be in this area. So invoices will be issued in electronic form as an XML file in a KSeF. As we already know, we have FA3 format currently. It may result that the activation of other invoice delivery channels might be necessary. For example, we need to decide whether we would like to stay with the current EDI channel or should we turn it off. Attachments will be also delivered separately. Here I'm talking about attachments that are like goods receipt documents, additional documents, etc. This is not the part that can be stored in the attachment section of the XML file. These are two types of attachments. So regular attachments, like additional documentation, will still be delivered separately. And the leading invoice number will be the number from the KSeF system, so-called KSeF identifier, KSeF number. And this will be the legally binding invoice number. In the area of tools, how it is now. So SAP can be used as a financial and accounting system. Some companies have OCR tools. Some companies still miss this functionality. Some companies have currently implemented workflow solutions. Some companies don't have workflow solutions. Workflow solutions can be implemented in SAP. Some companies have custom solutions or third-party products in this area implemented. Workflow outside of SAP is also possible. We need to adjust to these tools after implementing KSeF. So how it will be? So SAP will still be used as a financial and accounting system, and it will be enhanced with KSeF ID. We need to be able to track this KSeF number in SAP as a financial and accounting system. For example, to display KSeF number in open items reports in FI module. If the company has OCR tools, this tool can be used to recognize data from the KSeF invoice on condition that we have the PDF visualization of the KSeF document. Our tool, KSeF tool, All-for-One KSeF solution, can provide KSeF document visualization in PDF format. So OCR tools can still be used. But if the company decides to process KSeF document directly without the PDF visualization, currently implemented OCR tools will remain, but only for foreign invoices, not for domestic invoices anymore in that case. If the company has workflow tools implemented, we need to be able to deliver KSeF invoice to this workflow tool. We need to be able to start the process in such a workflow tool and hand over the KSeF document to this implemented workflow solution. KSeF also creates possibility to automate data entry, to automate data entry to such workflow, because we do have invoice data in electronic format already. So we can, for example, omit OCR stage, which is very often the very first step in any workflow solution. And this certainly applies to workflows in SAP and workflows outside of SAP. And the third area, the policies, how it is now. So some companies do not have any system support for approval policies. And some companies certainly have workflow tools that support policies for expenses. Approve first, then buy. This is the most common and best practice policy. So it is best to approve first requisitions and orders, not the invoice. But still, in many companies, it doesn't happen like this. It might be different. How it will be? So implementing KSeF is also an opportunity to implement system-based policies for expense approvals. This applies to companies that currently have no system support in this area. And staying with currently implemented policies supported by currently running workflow tools. And this applies to companies that currently already have system policies in place. But as I said on the previous slide, we need to deliver the KSeF invoice to the currently implemented workflow solution that supports any policies regarding approving invoices. Okay, so the capabilities of our solution. Automation, standardization, and new processes, policies, and new tools. These are areas where new functionality can be provided. Key functionalities of our KSeF purchase invoices extension to the basic KSeF product. So automatic downloading of KSeF invoices to the buffer. This buffer is located in the SAP system in the so-called KSeF cockpit, a new transaction in SAP. The solution can perform automatic pre-mapping in terms of header allocations. Allocations are reference numbers that are used for invoice verification. Usually this is a purchase order number, but it also might be a delivery slip number, etc. This pre-mapping can be used to implement outbound adapter, and this outbound adapter stays independent from the changes in FA format. So for example, if the ministry introduces new FA format, the pre-mapping will be adjusted by us in a basic product. So any custom adapter developed based on this pre-mapping won't have to be changed in that case. Monitoring of purchase e-invoices. Yeah, so basic functionality in the cockpit, in the buffer. You can list the documents, you can filter them, you can preview the XML, you can preview the PDF, visualization, processing logs, etc. It is very important to emphasize that our solution generates a PDF version of the visualization, which is very often required by the currently existing workflow tools. HTML visualization, which is also available. However, as we saw in DRC implementation, DRC has only HTML visualization. This is not sufficient for currently implemented workflow solutions. Currently implemented workflows usually require PDF, and our One KSeF solution is able to generate a PDF document. Another functionality, manual correction of header pre-mapping, is also possible if in case of errors. For example, we are searching for a vendor number for a tax number that comes in KSeF document. And in some companies, it may happen that the same vendor is, for example, created 3 times with the same tax number. So if the accountant wants to post the invoice on a different vendor account, this might be manually corrected. We have also the manual mode and automatic mode of processing. Automatic mode is just executed in background as a background job in SAP. It means that after import of the KSeF invoice from the KSeF system, we immediately, based on the pre-mapping and the outbound adapters, we just forward the invoice to the target environment, target workflow, target system. Manual mode, as the name says, the accountant must check the pre-mapping, check manually in the cockpit, and click the button, process the document to push the document forward. Visualization already discussed in HTML PDF format. Our solution also supports automatic archiving of this generated PDF via existing archive link interface to a repository that might be already configured in your SAP system in transaction OAC 0. So these are key functionalities that are common for all the outbound possibilities that we do have in our product. And what possibilities do we have in terms of outbound processing? In our KSeF product, we have 3 standard scenarios. First is an email delivery scenario. This is a very basic scenario, which is very simple to implement and very quick to implement. However, we do not make use of the data that is in XML format. We do not automate, for example, data entry. In this scenario, PDF is generated for the KSeF document, and then it is forwarded to an email address that is currently used by the company to receive incoming invoices from vendors. So this is a very basic scenario, but it fits any company. Scenario number 2 introduces partial automation. In these scenarios, we can park the document in or FI modules. So after import of the KSeF document to the cockpit, another stage is to park the document as a MIR document, MIRO document, invoice, or in FI as an FI document. For example, instead of FB60 transaction. Third scenario is where we generate inbound IDOC from the KSeF document. So we simulate EDI channel in that case. This scenario is especially used if the company has OpenText vendor invoice management solution. This is our best practice to integrate KSeF product, all for one product, with the Veeam system. And companies usually have various solutions, various workflows. Some workflows are custom in SAP, some are from third parties, some are outside of SAP. So there is a need to create custom outbound adapters as well. So our tool is prepared to introduce any custom outbound adapter. It can be written in ABAP. And for example, we can send the invoice to your external workflow system on condition that it has the REST API available, for example. Or if your company has custom workflow in SAP developed, then we can also integrate our product with this workflow as well. So to sum up, we do have 4 standard integration scenarios: delivery of PDF, parking in or FI, integration with all-for-one Rocker work. This is a special case that hasn't been mentioned on the previous slide, but we as a company provide also the Rockerwork solution for invoices. We do have also standard implementation with KSeF product in that case, and input with IDOC, used, as I said, mainly with Veeam. There is ability to develop custom integration scenarios and examples. For example, the third-party workflow system has REST API. We can create a REST API call in that case. External solution has OCR interface to the SAP. We can use this OCR interface, the existing OCR interface, to implement document pre-entry. Usually such an existing OCR interface is implemented as a remote-enabled function module in SAP, and certainly we can create a custom outbound adapter that makes use of this function module. We can also synchronize with existing EDI IDOC channels, depending on the decision whether the company stays with the EDI channel or not. And certainly there are possible also hybrid scenarios. Hybrid scenarios are scenarios where some invoices are processed in one way and another group of invoices is processed in another way. For example, if we recognize that the invoice is paid, it may be processed with the email adapter. And if it is not paid, so it is like regular invoice to be paid, then it is processed using normal standard adapter, which can be, for example, parking in a man. Integration with the workflow environment directly in SAP is also possible. So it is possible to implement invoice posting, finalizing the posting using a workflow task that is published in an inbox in SBWP transaction. There is also possibility to integrate with the existing workflow if the company has implemented a workflow in SAP, whether it is custom solution or not custom solution or from third party. And KSeF purchase invoices extension also introduces the KSeF number, KSeF ID field to the standard SAP transactions. Currently, 35 and more transactions are supported. So, for example, you can see the KSeF number field added to the Miro header, FB03, accounting document, line items table, a list of open items, etc. in places where accountants need this number. Please be aware that this number will be required in the future in the payment run to send this data to the bank. We do have some more solutions regarding purchasing invoices, not only for KSeF. One of the solutions is Rockerwork. This is a modern web-based low-code platform for incoming invoice processing, which is ready for KSeF integration. We have also one invoice flow solution. This is classic incoming invoice processing workflow implemented in SAP GUI client, SAP business workflow using SBWP code. We have also one invoice integration gateway product. This is an add-on used to integrate Rockerwork local platform with SAP, but it can be used also to integrate other external workflow solutions with SAP. And also one invoice attachments. This is our new product. This solution will be used to import attachment packages that come to SAP, archive them and link them with the correct final document, and KSeF number will be used to automate the linking process. Please be aware that attachments after implementation of KSeF will be delivered using a different channel than currently, not with the invoice. Invoice will come from KSeF, attachments will have to be, for example, sent by email. There is a need to link these attachments with the invoice at the end of the process.
Summary and next steps. Mandatory KSeF also poses challenges in terms of payment, incoming, outgoing, and GP key. Obviously, we support our client in this area as well. All for One KSeF. Why is it worth it? Ensure compliance with MF technical requirements, flexible adaptation to your business processes, complete solution in SAP, streamlining the work of finance. First, delivery of the All for One KSeF solution, then optional purchase of additional customization and implementation services, and at the end, launch of the subscription service delivery. Please remember that as a part of the subscription SaaS, the company has access to the solution adapted to changing law. Thank you for your attention. That is all we have prepared for today.
Thank you very much, Jacek, Krzysztof. Thank you for your presentation. And thank you, dear listeners, for your participation. We invite you to reach out to us if you have any questions or need further assistance. We are here for you and ready to support you in any way we can. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.